Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Small with A Stronger Foundation, and as promised, I am back. All right, in the last conversation, we talked about how sometimes as parents we enable our kids to fail. How we need to basically stop waiting on the school system to fix the problem for our kids, and we need to fix it because we have a moral obligation, okay, an ethical implication to fix what's going on with our children, because we are the ones that are responsible for them to succeed and become their best self, the best version of who they're supposed to be. All right, we talked a lot in the last video, and I promise this one would never come close to being that long. Okay, we talked about how if your child's already in third or fourth grade, how it's important to prevent them from continuing to fail. We can't ignore it. We can't neglect it. We can't say, oh, it's too late, because it's not too late. And I know it doesn't seem to be a cure for what's going on, but there is. And the cure is really practice. Not a lot of parents can handle fixing the problem, because fixing the problem means you have to take a stand, and the child has to start practicing more. And once the child starts to cry, a lot of parents just can't handle that and they just give up. We run a program, it's called A Stronger Foundation. And it's not the type of program that you're going to find 5,000 kids. And that's because we're very serious about what we do. We cater to the whole child. We're all about closing those learning gaps to help this child to get a fair opportunity, a fair shot of becoming their best self. Otherwise, anything else is unethical. Anything else is unethical. It's like we don't have a choice. We don't have an option to allow a child to achieve their greatest. That shouldn't be an option, that should just be an only choice. Okay. But apparently nowadays we do. Okay. So what starts to happen is if your child have a lot of gaps, if they're in third grade and they can't read, it depends on how far back the problem is. If it's phonics, then it's going to take a lot. You're going to have to pay for those sessions, and if you think about the end in mind, okay, think about the end result. What do you really want? Do you want your child to, be confident up to, I don't know, if the alphabet have 26 letters, you want them to be confident up to 12? Or do you want them to know the whole thing? Do you want them to go to the digraph and be able to recognize the rules of reading and begin to read? So it's going to cost you to fix the problem. So again, you have a decision to make. You're either going to allow your child to continue to limp through life and really miss out on the best opportunities, because if they're not qualified to be in certain competitions, they're just not. Okay, so we're robbing them of those opportunities. So when they're going up for a job and they don't get it, we hear a lot of whispers in the back. Oh, it's because they're Black, or it's because of systemic racism. But the truth is, I am running an organization, and I don't care the color of your skin. I don't want someone who's going to, run my business into the ground after how long I've worked at it. So that's the way I look at it. There's always going to be racism and systemic racism, of course, that exists. But I don't focus 100% on it, because like I always say, if someone has a cure for cancer, and if a Black person grows up and gets the cure for cancer or any of those diseases that have no cures, I can't imagine someone saying, you know what, we've been long waiting for this cure, and we're happy that you found it, but we don't want it because you're Black. I don't want to give your Black cure to my white child. I can't even imagine that, right? So I feel like if we work hard and become competitive, it's kind of hard to deny the cure. If you have the cure, who's going to deny that? Okay. You're going to move up in that company. You're going to be the one that gets hired. It's not like back in the day when I know that there's a story about a African-American man that had, come up with a nice cure, and he did a surgery or something great. And then, the other doctor took the credit for it. So anyways, I'm here today to talk about how to fix the problem. Okay. There's a whole ton of videos out there now all over YouTube and social media about how teachers are leaving. And there's a problem in the schools, and the children can't read. The children can't read. The children cannot read. Get it. What's the solution? I don't hear a lot of people talking about the solution. Okay, in the last video, I told you the solution is not some mysterious event. It's practice. It's if you're willing to practice. Now, it's hard when you have to go backwards. If you have a fourth grader, they have to go back to kindergarten skills to fix it. It's going to be a little, maybe a little embarrassing for them to have to work on those skills. But what's the alternative? Just let them continue to fail? No, fix it. It's better to fix it now than when they're in 10th grade or when they can't get to college. Okay. I know a story about a person who I remember, I look young, but I've been in the game for a long time. So the person came through and I did the evaluation and I said, listen, this is the plan because I write academic success plans for kids because I don't know how else your child will succeed unless they have a plan. They need an end point, an end goal. And so, of course, they said money was an issue. Okay, because we all want to fix the problem for $20 an hour. I don't know any um, incredible education or educator that's going to fix your problem for that. And I'll tell you, whenever something is free, there's usually a reason for it. Quality is going to cost you, is all I'm saying to you. Okay. Anyways, the person after about I don't know, 4 weeks, they're like, oh, it's too much. I can't afford it. And I said, listen, if you don't take care of it now, the problem is not going to go away. So it's either you're going to decide you're just going to let your child be mediocre and accept failure, or you're going to take care of it now. Because if you don't fix it now, you will fix it later. And it's going to cost you a lot more to fix it later. Sure enough, child now is in college, failed the same class 4 times already. How much does college classes cost? Right? Probably would have been better to take care of the problems earlier. There's a gap and you fall through gaps. That's what gaps are. So we're still waiting for those classes to be passed, but the parent keeps paying for them because, she wants them to succeed, but the problem could have been rectified earlier. Okay. And no, it's not common if your child has a strong academic foundation. It's not common for them to just fail college classes. That is not the norm. It's not common. Okay. It has to be one of those very, 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 very strange classes, if you're not used to something like statistics. I remember when I took stats, it didn't click for me in the first couple of weeks. And thank God it eventually did. And I graduated with, a good grade, a high grade, 2 points away from an A. So that was like a miracle for something that didn't click right away. So yeah, if you have a good foundation, it will happen. Now, let's go ahead and talk about how I had said earlier that, it's public record and that all the data is out there for all the parents, and you need to know how to find it. I mean, and some of you, I know you may not even really care about the data. I mean, you hear it in the news and you continue to follow the routine. But for those of you that do care, you want to know how your school's doing. If you think, oh, I'm talking nonsense, my school is an A school, my school's not failing, or if you say that my child is doing just fine. Okay. I just want to show you how to find the information. That's all. Okay. So I think the first place we're going to go to is my report card. And what it does is it kind of tells you how schools are doing in your district. Okay. So let's say you're in this district, Palm Beach County District. You're going to type in report card in the search engine. That's all. You're going to type in, like I said, you'll type in report card and it'll bring you to a page like this. Okay. And now, first we're just going to let's go to advanced reports. And if you go to advanced reports and you scroll down, and then you want to let's go to assessments, statewide assessments, and it'll show you some information. I think it's okay. I accept. Okay. So we're going to look at the map and We have the map here. We have gaps if you want to build a table to make some comparisons. Now we have to go over here to find our county. We are in Palm Beach County. So let's scroll on down. So you have all the different county, whatever county you're in. Baker, Bay, Brevard. Okay, so we're looking for Palm Beach County, we said. So I had a question from that county. So here we go. Palm Beach County is down here at the bottom. Here we, right here. Okay. So it's going to give you a lot of awesome information. Here it's going to tell you, let's look up top here. You have number of students. So you have a lot of students. What is like, look like almost 2 million students. Wow. Oh, actually, wait, I think that's the whole state. Let's go down specifically here. 114,000. Okay. And the achievement levels you can see. But what I like to look at is the percentage of the students at proficiency. Here we have 54. And this is just by the district. Okay. Here it's telling you that up here, the achievement level at 3 and above. 3 and above. Now, what that tells me is that they're combining the scores from level 3, level 4, and level 5 to get that 54. And if you look at just the level 5, you would see that that number drops significantly. What troubles me is that the new level 5 was the old level 3. Okay, the bar keeps dropping. I told you it's not the teacher, it's not the school, it's not the curriculum. It's not. Palm Beach County has an extremely rigorous curriculum. They do. Okay, not because our children are not rising to it doesn't mean that it's not a very potent curriculum. Okay, the standards are very high. The teachers are incredible. I mean, top of the line, and I'm not just saying it. I say it because when I speak to teachers and I hear what they come up with and I see the things they create to make children learn and understand, it really is incredible. Okay, so we really are in one of the top performing districts. Okay, so why are our children failing? Not the teacher, not the curriculum. Who else is there? Parents. Parents, the information is there for you. You have to make the most of it. Okay, we learn by practicing. Okay. And sometimes when parents ask me about PR, they're like, well, my child's getting a PR. Doesn't the PR means an A? No, PR doesn't mean an A. In fact, I tell the parents that I think that they came up with PR as a medium ground. Okay. Because parents used to get so angry because what was happening when they used to give letter grades in school, if you remember, your kids used to get A, B, C, D in school. And then parents used to get angry. You gave my child a D. Okay. So the middle ground was to go with PR for proficiency. And that's on a scale. Okay. It's like a range, a scale between such and such. Okay. Now, typically, it would start at a 70%. That would be a level 3. But I have to tell you, your child could possibly be receiving 40% and still get a PR because that's what it means when you have to lower the bar and lower the just to pass them along. Okay. And don't you dare blame the school. You can't exactly have a 14-year-old boy that keeps failing first grade. He shouldn't be in first grade, but if he just keeps failing, and now he's 14, you can't have him there because then he's going to bully the real first graders, right? So that's why you have to keep moving children along. That's just how it is. And I say that the PR was a compromise because who wanted to fight with angry parents that only comes in when they want to complain and when they want to fight and they want to disrespect teachers? and threaten teachers. So it's like, you know what, just PR, proficient. If you, as long as you hit a certain, you know, percentage, especially in middle school, for the kids, they're not getting up to no 50 and 60%. They're struggling at 40, and poor teachers have to just pass them along. You can't fail everybody. Okay. And what can the teacher do? Because they teach and they're willing to teach and they're ready to teach. Who's the hindering agent? The parent. Why the parent and not the child? I'm not going to blame the child, because the child's going to do what they're enabled to do. Because in the same class, if you look over, you'll see one kid acting like a clown, because they know when they go home, there's no repercussion. They know that if they complain and tell the parent that the teacher looked at them funny, then the parent is going to call a conference with the teacher to discipline and reprimand the teacher instead of the child. So yeah, it's a parent. Okay. And I care about you parents, and I have the solutions that I mentioned to you. Okay. Not the end all be all, because really I'm an advocate for a program like even Hooked on Phonics. I mean, come on. I'm gonna reinvent the wheel. The program works. Even there was a program called My Baby Can Read. And it got so much criticism that I don't know if it's still around, but there was nothing wrong with the program. Parents would complain, or whoever was complaining, the critics, they complained that it didn't really teach comprehension. What kids were just memorizing. Well, to be honest with you, I wish some of the kids today could even memorize the words. Forget about pronouncing them and sounding them out. If even they could memorize the words and call them from memory, that would be great. They can't. They can't say the word. They can't sound it out. They don't have a clue what syllables are. I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, I know times are changing, but are you telling me that reading is going to be old school, like it's outcast? Even when there's accommodations and adaptations and all that, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a period of years. It takes time. It takes a decade, probably 100 years. I don't know. So until we're fully adapted to some other system where I guess kids don't need to read anymore, we're still there. But they need to read to succeed and to survive. Right? So again, with all the talk about what's wrong with the education system, and there's a lot of conversation about that, a lot. Okay? Kids can't read. The kids can't read. The kids can't read. What is the problem? What's the solution? You got to backtrack. You got to teach these children how to read. Okay? I've got great solutions for it. One thing we do is through our program. Our program is a Stronger Foundation, and a Stronger Foundation offers the academic success plan for kids. Okay? It has about, in general, like 3 phases. And the first step is mindset. Okay? Because if you don't get a child to believe, okay, check all the educational psychologists and what they've said, all their theories. And if a child don't believe and don't care, you have to first connect with that child emotionally, or you're going to waste your time. You're going to talk and they're going to watch your mouth move. Okay, the kids are good at blocking you out. So that's where we start. We have a program called Character Circle. So what that does is it begins to get the children to develop an aptitude for learning, start to see learning and education as important for them to become their best self. Okay, we have an awesome curriculum that teaches that. In fact, we use a book, and it's called What You Say Is What You Are. I should have a copy nearby. The book is called What You Say Is What You Are, and that's the book that we use. And so this is part of the curriculum that we use. This is our mentor text. As you could see, it was written by Dr. Tanya Small. And this is our mentor text. Beautiful initial story. Get the kids off on a great start. After that book, we go into a full activity guide that leads the children through the whole process of developing a mindset for success. It's available on Amazon and also wherever you get books from, Barnes and Nobles, it's there. And why do we do that? Because again, years ago, I presented a beautiful a presentation to the district and the superintendent, and it was so awesome because we implemented a part of it, and it talked about how you can have the best teachers with the best strategies, but you're not going to get through. It's going to have no impact until there's an emotional connection. Okay. And that's what's happening here. That's what's happening. Okay. So again, parents who, if you're serious, we work with serious parents. First of all, if you're not serious and if you're looking for someone to tutor your child for 3 sessions or 4 sessions, we're not right for you. And before I told you, we actually have a small group of children that we work with, because if we see that the parents, we're not a public school, we're not even a charter school. Okay. If you want to give your child a fresh start, to start all over again from scratch and to build that foundation, first thing you have to understand, that's going to take time, because the problem didn't start overnight. It's going to take time for you to correct what's wrong with your child. If you're afraid of your child, or if you have them in the driver's seat, like we talked about before, then we cannot help you, because you cannot have the child with the keys at their age. You're going to wreck the car if you give a child keys while they're young or before they're able to drive. But that we've seen children start over fresh and develop all of their skills. All about closing learning gaps. We're going to close the past gaps, then we're going to close the present gaps, and then we're going to prevent future gaps from forming. Okay? At the end of our process, the children are released at least 2 academic school years ahead. The problem and the issue for most parents is that, of course, they want to see the results overnight. It doesn't work that way. What's different with us in other programs? I would say accountability. Because again, we're not going to be all over the place. We're going to give your child an evaluation. And then we're going to look at all their gaps. And we know where they're supposed to be. We are educators. We're educators. Whatever's causing them to fail right now, it needs to be corrected. It's not going to self-correct. You might think, well, as they keep going from grade to grade to grade, eventually it'll fill in. It does not. It does not. Okay? Remember, it's not just about getting straight A's and getting on the dean's list. Isn't it about fulfilling their life purpose? So even if they get through school, that's not the end all. The end all is, did they become their best self, the best version of who they're created to be? Because that's when they align with God's perfect plan. And until they align with that, they're going to be unfulfilled. They're going to be miserable. There's going to be anxiety. There's going to be depression. And parents, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Okay? Why do I care so much? Well, I feel like some of these children have the cure. The children have the cure for diseases. There's so many childhood diseases and cancer, and there's arthritis, there's diabetes, there's so many illnesses. And I mean, come on, if we're able to do what we do, work such magic with technology, how are we not able to come up with some of these cures, right? I believe they do exist. I believe we just need to develop the person who's carrying it. Okay. I believe the cure has existed for decades, probably centuries. But because it wasn't developed, it died with the person who was carrying that cure. Okay? Think about it. Wasn't it Edison who had the dream and the talent for the light bulb? Remember? But as I read his story when he was young, he was quite, playful in classroom too. I don't want to say a clown. I don't want to get in trouble, but he was just playful too and hard to sit still, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, when you're carrying something like that, you may be misjudged as troublemaker or a clown because maybe you need more challenge. Maybe that could be the situation. But anyways, in his case, Edison's case, mom had to pull him out of school because I mean it was rough. He was just a distraction, self-distraction in school. But then bottom line is, look what he achieved. Like if nothing was done, if mom just kept on saying, "Oh, it's not my son, it's the teachers, it's the school," and just kept him going through the motion until he passed through, what would have happened? Would we have, would someone else have come with the answers and with the solutions to electricity? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Okay? So in the same way, that's why I care. Okay. I'm here to advocate for children. I know that children like to win. Kids like to win. They don't like to lose. Okay. So when you tell a child that they can win, they're willing for the challenge. They are ready for the challenge. If they think they're going to lose, they won't even get in the race. Okay. They're going to be like, nah, I don't want to run. I don't want to run. Okay. But when they think they can win, they will run. Okay. So let me go back. Sometimes I get off topic, but I'll come back. So we were looking at report card. Okay, so let's go back there. Yes, we were here and we talked about the score. So this is Palm Beach County, and if this is average, your school is in it. Okay, great. Let's take a look now at report cards. And we were there. Okay, report cards, we're still there. I just went into a different tab. And now I want to take a closer look at individual schools. Now, I don't want to put any schools on blast. So what I'm going to do is show you how to find it. And I don't really want to blast anyone. So let's go to report cards. And we have state report cards that you could look at how the whole state's doing. You could look at district report cards. It just shows you your individual district. We can go to school report cards. Let's go to school report card. Then it allows you to pick your district. And I think we'll go again with Palm Beach. I mean, that's where we are. Let's just be realistic. We'll go to Palm Beach County School District. And then let's pick a school. Okay. Now, I'm going to pick, let's see. Let's pick, what about this school here? Winton Beach Elementary. Let's go to, what about Everglades? I don't know. I think it's a nice school. It's a very nice school. And then you hit review report card. And you'll see this is 2022, 2023. I guess the updated one is not here yet. You scroll down, it gives you a lot of great information. It tells you the grade levels that are served. See, it's an A school. Doesn't mean that every child in the school is receiving an A. Parents, okay? I want you to be intelligent about this. Now, we keep going down. And I think this is telling us that 100% of the children were tested. So this will be good data for us. Okay. Now, let's scroll down. I'd like to go down. And there's a lot we can look at, but I'm not going to look at everything now because if we do, it's going to be a long video. But if you wanted to get an idea how many kids are in the school, you can look here and it will tell you, it'll even tell you by grade if you hover over. Okay, in fourth grade, we have 166 fourth graders, second graders, 133. So basically, in general, you have 847 children in this particular school. And then it looks at the race. And I like the information here too, because it helps to help us to understand the data very well. Okay, so this school looks like it's 36% white and 25% black. So 26, wow, it has okay, so it's pretty good, pretty nice distribution. Okay. And we are going to look now at the scores. Let's go down, male and female. Oh, look at the economically disadvantaged. We have 54%. It's pretty high. It's pretty high, I think. Well, it's half. And just looking at miscellaneous items, that's all. Okay. So we have 25% that are Black. That's going to help me when I'm looking at the data here. All right, so I'm going to go down now. So we have 847 children in the school. Let's look at the achievement levels. If you look at the achievement levels, okay, of all the kids in the school. First of all, let's take a look at the chart below. You always look at the table when you're looking at data and graph. Okay, you see the colors that represent level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So this school, all the students, first of all, this is statewide over here. It's a comparison chart. So they're going to look at the school itself, and then it's going to look at the district, Palm Beach County School District, and then it's look at across the state. Okay, so look at the children at this school that are getting a level 1. It's 12%. Or we could call it like almost 13% of the children are getting a level 1. If you wanted to know that exact number, you would just have to do a little math to find out what percent of 847 is this. This is what percent of 847. You could find that out. Okay, so level 1, we had about 13% at level 1, level 2, 20%, level 3, 20%, level 4 was 30%, level 5, 17%. And to be honest with you, even though this data is not like great, I still like to see when, they have some higher number here at level 4, like this school. To be exactly honest with you, I feel like we can do better. I feel like, why are we at a 28%? Like, why can't we be here 50% at level 5? Why can't 50% of our children get a level 5? Why is it that 17% is getting a 5? When, as far as I'm concerned, again, the level 5 is the old level 3. Okay, that's reflecting how they're still struggling. Sometimes when you hear schools say that more than 50% of our students are at or above the proficiency level, it sounds good when you combine these numbers together. Of course, 20, let's do 21 plus 29 plus 18. Of course, it's going to look great when you compare that bigger number to a level 2 or level 1. Of course, it's going to be like, wow, that's great. Okay. Now, my question is, why can't this be a 50%? Why is it an 18%? Why are you telling me that out of 847 children, only 18% of them can achieve a level 5? It blows my mind. And again, it's not the teachers. Don't even go there. It's not the school. It's not the curriculum. It's a lack of practice. So this is what our school has gotten used to. Okay. This for schools is good because they're like, look, okay. They're like, if this is the best our kids are going to do, then we will take it. It looks good. Oh, we're happy. At least it's not 10% that, right, that had a level 5 only, level 5. Okay. I believe we can do better. Let me look at you. We got to be able to do better. We got to be able to do better. I mean, at least 50% should be at a level 5. Personally, I would like to see 80% at level 5. I just would. And then let that other 20% be distributed down to level 1, 2, 3. But it shows you that, again, I don't want to blast any school because, again, public record. And if you look throughout all the schools, you're going to see very, very similar data. And what I've learned is that sometimes when it looks like another school is defying that data and you're like, oh my gosh, then you realize, oh, it's in a more affluent area where you have more parents that's like on it, versus the area where the parents are working all night long, and the sister is raising the children. Okay. So basically the same. And when you look at again at charter schools that try to make parents think that it's so different, you're looking at 1 to 2 points difference. Okay. And I'm showing you how to do it so that you can go there yourself. Okay. So let's go back real quickly so we can wrap it up. The last part I want you to see. Okay. This data here in front of you, it looks one way. Okay. But if you want to see how it looks when you do it by subgroups or categories, okay, look at the numbers real quick at the top so that we can do some comparisons when I go to subgroups. And I'm going to go to subgroup Black children. So let's go back up here, subgroups. And I'm going to go, because you can do Hispanic, you can do multiracial, you could do economically disadvantaged, so much you can do. I'm going to go with the Black children. And then you have to make sure you hit this view chart. Okay. So here we have the data's looking pretty much the same. Hold on, let me fix that. Okay, I see. It looks like I did not get my subgroup. I did not hit it properly. Okay, let's see if I can get to it. Uh-oh. Is it not going to let me do it? Come on, let's try this. Okay, now I think I'll get it. Good. I got it now. Okay. Now what I want you to look at, okay, and we're still just looking at the one school, but do you notice here how this number has gone up? Okay, now we're just looking at one subgroup, which is the African American children. When we were looking at all the kids, 12% of those kids were getting a level 1. But now we brought it down to just the Black children, and look how 21% are at a level 1. More of them are failing. Less of them are doing well at a level 5. Okay. What gets me is when I now think about again, how many of these children were actually Black? How many of them made up the total of the 847? Remember, it was, I think 847 was the total number of kids, right? Okay. Now let's go and look. So now you're going to be taking the percent from that. Let me see. Let's go back up. I want to see where we had the number of children. Population is where it was. Okay. So let's go. So now we had, what I like about this is that if you click it, oh wait, I thought it, okay, it doesn't do that anymore. This one doesn't do it, but it would give you the number. So I could do the math though, but 25% of that 847, that's how many Black children you have. Okay. And of those Black children, that many of them are scoring the way we just showed you the chart. Okay. It's not good. It's not pretty. Okay. Don't want to blast any school. And like I said, all I can keep saying is look at another school. And even if you look at some of the most affluent elementary schools, and don't even look at middle school and high school, because trust me, if they're failing in elementary school and that's the bottom of the ladder, don't even waste your time on middle. It just becomes a circus once you get up there. But parents, what I'm telling you is that let's fix the problem. We talked about love. I'm not going to go there again. Okay. But if you love these children, you need to fix it. And how you fix it, that's really up to you. But I'm going to be very frank with you, open with you. Okay. Because I know for a fact that I may not have any money, but if there's a hole in my roof and the water starts to come through, I'm going to find that money. Right? Because it's just one of those situations where I can't ignore it. I'm going to fix it. Well, even though I had no money, I'm going to have to find money. Okay. I also understand if there's a medical situation and I have no money, I understand that one way or the other to take care of that medical condition, I'm going to have to find the money somehow. I know I have a mortgage. I don't want to pay the money. It's way too much. House prices are too high, inflation, this and that. But I know that one way or the other, I better find that money if I want to have a roof over my head, right? So we figure it out. Whatever car we drive, a lot of times we don't go for the car that's going to leave us on the street. We go for the one where nowadays car notes are, come on, what, $1,000 minimum? I mean, the big, gas guzzlers that I see, I know for a fact because when I try to check it out and I hear the price, I'm like, okay, never mind. But we find a way to do what we want to do. When it's time to go back to school, you're getting them those $300 pair of shoes. And when a shoe gets dirty, God forbid, you're replacing them. Okay. And that's one of the things I look at when a parent says to me, oh, I can't afford your price. Because whether or not I'm the right one for you, that's okay. Because I feel like if it comes too easy, parents take advantage. That you don't want it because see this the education you're getting from those teachers in the school, that is priceless. But you take advantage. You pull your kid out to let them have a play date one day, or if you have a doctor appointment, you're pulling them out of math class. You can't pull your kid out of math class for a doctor appointment. Schedule it doing fine arts. I'm going to get in trouble with fine arts teacher, but just not a core curriculum because not a core subject because it builds. And if they miss the first introduction of a skill in math, then they come tomorrow, they missed that lesson. Don't you see what you just did to them? You just took away one of their steps. And parents, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, you got to do your doctor's appointment. You don't have to do it. Find out from the child what time is reading, what time is math, what time is science. Don't miss them. And if they're in middle school, then do the same thing. Don't miss certain classes because you're messing them up and you're creating more gaps. Okay? So that's where we are. Okay? I showed you the different data, I showed you some math, I showed you how to get there. I think that's what I wanted to do. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I wanted to also tell you a little more about me. Not too small, but I also have a regular podcast, and it's been running a long time. You know, I don't have all the fancy stuff that some other podcasts have, and I don't have time to try and perfect it. But it's good information about trying to help your child to be the best that they can be. Letting parents know, don't just turn it off. Don't just turn it off. I mean, stay on. Their life it's real. I guess my whole point about us finding the money when we need it, if it was my child, I would mortgage my child. Like I treat it for my mindset, I would just treat it like a mortgage. I would treat it like a hole in my roof, like I gotta fix it. Can't decide if there's a treatment for cancer that after the third treatment, that's enough money, don't have no more money, can't afford it, I'm not going to go anymore. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't even do that to the child. So see, that's exactly what you're doing to their life. You're sacrificing their life. Because what's worse than a physical death to me is a mental death, is dying while you're alive. You know how you die? Is when you miss your purpose in life. And every night you go to lay down and that good old glass ceiling above your head. We all go through that. It's not depression. It's really just when you lay down and there's no one else around, all the lights are down, the curtains come down, and it's just you and your soul and your God. You start reflecting, don't you? Yes, we do. Okay. Now, hopefully, when they reflect, they can say, done well. I did the best that I could. I'm the best version of myself. Okay. But if they can't, that stuff will eat them up. Because that script that plays, the ideal version of you see it. Isn't it haunting? Isn't it like torment? It just, ugh. You're like, gosh, I mean, I know we're always growing and always learning, but don't allow your child to miss their purpose in life, because what was your reason for living? Don't you understand that if you miss your purpose, your life was in vain? Yes, your whole life was in vain. So we are a stronger foundation, and we cater to families, serious mom, serious dad that's not afraid for their children to say, "Oh, I worked too hard. They're working me too hard. These teachers, they made me write a whole paragraph. Oh, my finger hurt because I wrote a paragraph." And if you're the type that's going to say, "Oh, what? She let your fingers hurt? You wrote a whole paragraph? 5 sentences or more. This is ridiculous. I'm pulling you out of there." Parents are happy to pull them out, because when the child complains, and when you tell me, well, if my child likes it, oh, that's bad. That's bad. I want to say you're full of it, because you're trying to tell me if your child have cancer and they don't like the treatment, you're going to stop. You're going to stop. And if your child needs to be immunized, and they don't like the injections, you're just going to let them not take the shots and risk getting these diseases, right? That's what you're going to do? No. So that's your excuse, okay? Because you don't want to pay to save the child, when you allow this to happen. You allowed it to happen. Because if you were proactive from the start. And when Dr. Small said, "Come to me for an academic success plan," and if you created that plan, your child would not have been in this position. And the beautiful thing is, when you create an academic success plan, what you do is you prevent learning gaps. I mean, I guess it might be impossible to not have even 1%, but in comparison to the 80% of gaps that we have, 1% sounds exciting. Right. So, get them an academic success plan, because if you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know how you're going to get there. You're going to end up going around 15, 30 times a long way. Okay. With our plan, we start off our kids, we build their mindset, because the best gift that you can give them is a growth mindset, so that they internally want to achieve the greatness for which they were designed. Okay, get a copy on Amazon, and then reach out to me, because I'd love to take your child through that program. It's multiple sessions, and it's treated like a tutoring session. It's worth every penny. Once this is in place, or actually, I should say simultaneously to developing the mindset, we use our trademark academic curriculum, and it's called that one is called the Read and Buddy Study Guide and Math Attack. No one else has it. No one else has it. And this is what makes us successful. Like I said, if you're going to say, "Oh, I want 80 people that you've worked with that can show me the success," probably won't get it. We're actually now developing more, but we have children we've worked with. Parents are happy to talk to you. Our success stories sound like this. There was a child that I knew the child. When I was a teacher, I hadn't worked with the child at that point, but they were in kindergarten. Since the child was in kindergarten, they used to walk and mope. Like they were in that special class, the group of kids that's just like, going nowhere. There's like something wrong with them. They're kind of like on the spectrum, and no one expects anything from them. So I used to see the kid in the hallway. They stood out because there was a head was hung low and just walking like little robots. And then whenever you ask the child, like, "What's your name?" And I only gathered this after I eventually met the parent, because the parent said, "Listen, I heard about you. I heard what you guys do, and I want to save my child." So this happened in fifth grade when mom came to me, but I knew the child since kindergarten, because I would watch them walking through the hall when I was walking my regular classroom. And so in fifth grade, when mom said, "Please, can you help me?" And I said to the child, "What's your name?" and I'm going to make up a name here. But the child said, Jonathan. And just the way he said it, just in the most monotone and lethargic, low energy voice, it was wild. I don't know. And whatever question you asked was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay. But mama was tough. Mama was tough. And because mom was tough, we were able to help. Okay. Again, if you're a weak parent and you're okay with your child failing and you want to use the excuse that there's no solution, that's up to you. You're going to raise a mediocre child. They're going to have a mediocre life. And I just say, shame on you because you've robbed the whole world because maybe that child had the cure for cancer or some kind of disease that was inside of them. And because you refused to develop that child, okay, you caused this problem. Because if when they were young, you had a plan and we worked on that plan, and as our plan do, we get them 2 academic years ahead. As long as you cooperate as a parent, and there's no work for you as a parent, you don't do any work. All we ask is that you bring that child to us and let us do what we do. Don't have them absent 40 times like you do in the regular school setting. Bring them to us 2 academic years ahead. Okay? Then what you've given that child is a chance to become innovative and then begin to find their greatness. But when they're struggling all the way through 10th and 12th grade and they can't read and they can't write and they can't do math and there's so much they cannot do, what are you preparing for? Tell me, what are you preparing them for? If you don't have a plan right now somewhere in your house that is itemized of the steps you're going to take to get your child where they're supposed to be. And I'm not saying you're supposed to say you're going to be a doctor and that's what you're going to be. No, but there's a thing called foundation. Once you give them the foundation, they get to the point where now they can begin to innovate. That's when you start to give them that global mindset and start to, get them to think critically and develop, a lot of tutoring programs, they confuse you. They're like, and the child is in kindergarten, first grade, and they want to be all over the place, making you think that your child's supposed to be doing all kind of wild things. But to be honest with you, that will come. First thing you want to do is develop their academic, and all that other stuff will fall in place. So, anyways, back to the story. Um, there are times that I wasn't sure if we could help some of these children, but because the parents wouldn't quit. There's sometimes that they said to me, they said, Dr. Small, if you can't do it, if you don't help my child, I know there's no hope. And that kept me going, and I kept trying and trying. And anyways, long story short, this child that told me one day, the child said to me, I said, why do you keep failing classes? Why do you keep getting Fs? Why do you keep getting Fs? The child said to me, because in order to succeed, you must fail. And I think he actually believed that he was supposed to keep failing classes if he wanted to succeed. I don't think he understood that conversation. And anyways, in the end, this child, during the graduation, okay, don't forget, if nothing was done to this child, you would have had a child that probably would have failed a bunch of grades. If this wasn't done, mama, every week, she ran me down with this money. She put that money in my hand. I didn't even count it. Didn't matter to me because this is my purpose. This is what I do. But she wouldn't back off. Now, when we went to the graduation, this child was not the valedictorian. That's not what I'm going to tell you. It wasn't the solitarian. No. But out of the few people who were called out to stand for some form of recognition, this child was among that number. Oh my God. Mom was just in tears. And then when he thanked me at the graduation party and the way he spoke, oh my goodness. It was just worth it all. Right? So yeah, we're looking for serious parents. Okay. If you're serious and you're unable to find place that will really help your child, not just a place where the child's going to come and we're going to tutor them in one quick topic and let them go. No. If you want your child to get back on track and you're a serious parent, I want you to contact us, okay? I usually try and put the information in the description, but I'll just give it to you. You can write. I don't like a full email box, so I usually don't insist on emails. I really just prefer. I feel if a parent's serious enough, they're gonna write. You're gonna take a pencil and you're going to say, I'd like to set up a meeting. Okay, we have parent information sessions all the time, and so you're going to write to PO Box 210832. That's 210832, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, 33411. And we'll get the information. We'll reach out to you. We'll set it up. We have educators ready to go. And if you didn't see the first video before this one, go watch it. And I think, again, I wanted to show you the academic architect. I probably did already, but I want to show it to you. I think I talked about it, but I didn't really show it to you. So this is Academic Architect. And as you can see, this is season 2 here. There's a season 1. So if you go to YouTube and you type in here, Academic Architect, and usually PDO, if you can't find it, try PDO. And it just gives a bunch of topics and the conversations. The first one was really good because it talked about the Great Divide and how, when we first understand how our children are failing, first time you really, really, really see it is 6th grade when they cross over and there's that divide. And a lot of kids, because of that gap, they fall right through. And that's it for that kid. Okay. They go through the motion after that and they're out of school. They go into the workforce, can't keep a job because they can't read. They don't know how to make change. It's like no one knows what to do with them on the job. They're like, look, there's only so much garbage that you could take out. The bathroom is not dirty all the time. What can they do? Parents, failing to prepare your child is preparing your child to fail. Thomas Jefferson. Okay? No matter where your child is right now, there's a system in place. You're hearing all the discrepancies about the education system and how our kids are failing, and no one's coming up with a solution. The one solution I've heard is one that I'm on board with, which is hooked on phonics. Get them back to hooked on phonics. That will take care of the reading problem. If you do it consistently, thoroughly, it will work. Okay, we have a full-blown system, which includes similar programs to Hooked on Phonics, where your child will learn how to read. They'll develop fluency, accuracy, and comprehension. And don't forget, we're not doing this just for the school. We're not doing it just for to get a dean's list or honor roll. We're doing this to help this child to walk into their purpose. Okay. Now, I promised you this video wouldn't have been as long as the last one. And I really came through. I think it's at least a minute shorter. Thank you for spending time with us. I think the next time you see me, it'll be on my regular Academic Architect podcast. Thank you so much for listening and reach out to us. Thank you.